Hey, make sure y'all turn the phone.
Start giving our praise to the Most High and to His Son Yahushua. To you brothers and sisters out there, Shabbat Shalom. Happy Sabbath, Israel. Today's class is we're gonna go into a study of King Solomon, and we're gonna touch on a little bit of King Solomon in the history, because King Solomon was one of the wisest and the richest king in Israel. He was the third king, and he ruled in 970 BC to 931 BC. You know, King Solomon, he had a great reign, you know, but at the end, he started going off, and we're going to touch on that. So this is a lesson to the brothers and sisters that's out there. You got to stay diligent to the end, Israel, all the way. You don't want to come up in the truth, be strong in the first hand, and then lag off in the second hand. You want to stay strong all the way through, Israel. So we're going to touch on this class for a minute. Give me Sirach 8, chapter 8 and verse 9.
The book of Sirach, chapter 8, verse 9. Miss not the discourse of the elders.
Read that again.
Miss not the discourse of the elders.
The Bible commands us to miss not the discourse of the elders, because guess what? We are to look for our elders, and that's also similar to going into the Bible. Our elders of this Bible, don't miss the discourse of the understanding of what they gave us throughout the scriptures. So whenever you have a man of understanding, a man that's keeping God's commandments, guess what? You don't never want to miss that conversation or the discourse. Read on up.
And another thing, you must learn also, just because our elders did it, don't mean that's what we're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Because some things was shown to us not to do by elders also.
Read on up.
For they also learned of their fathers.
For they what?
Also learned of their fathers.
For they also learned of their fathers. Guess what? This is what this history is all about. This is what your heritage is all about. Passing down what your forefathers did. So guess what? That can keep our nation great and stable in a nation of Israel. That's what this is all about. You got some? Go ahead,
And of them thou shalt learn understanding.
And of them thou shalt learn understanding. Guess what? We learn and get understanding through what our forefathers taught, through the Spirit of the Most High being put in them. Guess what? They teach us the things, the parables, dark sayings. Guess what? And prophecies throughout all the scriptures.
Matter of fact, jump up to verse 8 right quick on that same chapter right quick.
Verse 8: Despise not the discourse of the wise, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs.
It said, despise not the discourse of the wise. That's what I was going into. It's telling us not to despise it. Man, look, if you, like I say, if you see a man of understanding, like you're supposed to be beating his doorstep down. Read out.
No, go ahead.
But acquaint thyself with the proverbs, for of them thou shalt learn instruction and how to serve great men with ease.
See, that's going into the same thing, because because a great man, those are the men that speaking through what the Lord said, through the law, statutes, and commandments, man.
Exactly.
And they teach you how and guide your life through the scriptures and through the parables of the Bible and through the similitudes and allegories of the Bible, and show you what the do's and the don'ts.
Exactly. And it also tells you, like when we be going from camp and all these different things where everybody be in the camp, this is what your elders should be looking like, the elders of this Bible, and start doing the things of this Bible. The ones that are following these law, statutes, and commandments of this Bible. Them the ones you should be around, not the ones that you say, man, that ain't in the Bible, and they saying something crazy. Y'all need to be aware of those type of things.
Exactly. And like you say, when I read verse 8, the Proverbs goes into wise sayings, which King Solomon wrote. You know, he was very wise, man, very wise. So we always want to stay on that first path he kept and keep it all the way through and not slag or lack off in this truth. Read verse 9 again.
Verse 9: Miss not the discourse of the elders, for they also learn their fathers, and of them thou shalt learn understanding.
Thou shalt learn understanding, meaning how to keep God's commandments properly. how to keep the high holy days, not to celebrate Christmas, which we got coming up. Because all these things is put unnecessary burdens on our people. Read on out.
And to give answer as need require.
And guess what? When you get understanding of the scriptures, you know how to answer people when they don't know something about the Bible. That is our job in the nation of Israel, is to make the Bible real to our people. Because for too long we have been taught this Bible is not a real book, that is full of fairy tales and so forth. But when you get the understanding, you know that that's not the truth.
That's right.
Give me 1 Kings chapter 2 and 10. Touch on a little bit King Solomon.
Chapter 2.
Yeah, 1 Kings chapter 2 and 10. Let me see what was that. Yeah, you can start.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 2, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
So David slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David.
I mean, chapter 2 and 2. I'm sorry.
2 and
I
2.
see that's why you was asking. Yeah, 2 and 1. I mean, chapter 2 and 1.
Okay, 2 and 1. Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die.
So David was coming to a point where he was about to die. All men died. Read on up.
And Solomon his son saying, I go thy way all
Oh, you missed the last part.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Read it from the top again.
Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die. And he charged Solomon his son, saying,
He charged Solomon with his son, saying, going back to what we said in Sirach, miss not the discourse of the elders. Guess what? He gonna listen to what his father had to say. And it also goes into, guess what? Counsel. King David is giving him good counsel while he on his deathbed, so he can continue the lineage and keep it strong in the kingdom. Read on up.
I go thy way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man.
And I know I'd like to touch on this a lot of times, because guess what? You're not a man if you're not keeping God's commandments. You know, that's first and foremost. That's the beginning of you being a man.
And see, and another thing, like the women, they say, I want a real man. This is how you find out how the real man is. A man that's keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. And then everything else, what you in your idea what a real man is, it does not mean it. Go to the Bible and find out what a real man is. It's fixing to tell you what a real man is.
Exactly.
In fact, I'll do a class on that, a man.
Yeah.
Read.
We'll constantly be touching on these classes. Exactly.
That's right.
Because guess what? The in the volume of the book, guess what? It tells you a man needs to work to provide for his family. A man needs to be guiding his woman and his children, and not to be dealing with their wives inappropriately. Like I said, she is not your slave. Your children, hey, you deal with them according to God's laws. And all that goes and shows you how to be a good man. If it's not lining with thus said the Lord, guess what? You're not thus said a man.
That's right.
You know, that's the first and foremost. Read on up.
And keep the charge of the Lord thy God to walk in his ways.
It says to keep the charge to walk in God's ways. God's ways is action. You have to put forth action. Walking is an action word. Read on up.
To keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses.
Our forefathers, guess what? They was reading what our forefathers left for them. Read on up.
That thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest.
Say, this is the only way we are going to prosper. A lot of times, brothers can miss this. This is the only way we're going to prosper, because they asked us why we ain't doing better as a nation of people. Because guess what? We're not keeping God's laws. This is the only way we're going to prosper. Go ahead.
And what he said keep the law of Moses. What he got that from Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 9. I'm going to read that for you right quick. Keep therefore the word of this covenant and do them, that ye may prosper in all that ye do.
Exactly.
So y'all make sure y'all writing the precept stuff down too.
Like we tell brothers to take notes, man. Because guess what? You need to go back home and study. You have to study. You have to show yourself approved unto God, not to man. You want to show the Most High that you're taking this word seriously and this walk seriously. So study, brothers and sisters. Read on up.
Whithersoever thou turnest thyself, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself.
And whithersoever thou turnest thyself, guess what? Keep the charge of the Most High God. Keep the commandments, Israel, brothers and sisters and children. Now jump to verse 10.
Verse 10. So David slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David.
So King David had died. King David was a great man. He was warned. He really set the pinnacle for King Solomon to have a easy kingdom just to go into. Because David spent most of his life warned with the Canaanites, warned to take over the lands of Israel and putting all our enemies in subjection. The Edomites, the Jebusites, the Canaanites, the Hamites, all these nations was put under David's feet. All praises to the Most High God. Read on up.
And the days of David reigned over Israel for 40 years.
So King David reigned in Israel for 40 years. Read on up.
7 years reigned he in Hebron,
Uh-huh.
and 33 years reigned he in Jerusalem.
So he split the time. Some years he ruled in the northern tribe, because that's where the kingdom of Hebron is. And the rest of his time, the majority of his time was in Jerusalem, the southern kingdom. Read on up.
Then sat Solomon upon the throne of David his father.
So David took over the kingdom. Read on. Solomon took over the kingdom. Read on up.
And his kingdom was established greatly.
And his kingdom was established greatly. We have to understand that Israel, King Solomon was the wisest man ever, the richest king ever. So we just got, that's a little context for our brothers and sisters to keep and to understand. Read on up.
And Adoniah, the son of Haggith, came to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon.
Adonijah was Solomon's eldest brother. Read on up.
And he said, comest thou peaceably?
Peaceably.
There you go. And he said, peaceably.
Uh-huh.
He said, moreover, I have somewhat to say unto thee.
So Adonijah wanted to speak to Bathsheba, Solomon's mother, because he was mad that, guess what? King David gave the kingdom to Solomon. Well, it really wasn't even King David. It was the Most High God.
Mm-hmm.
And that's first and foremost where Adonijah went out, because if it's not you, then it's obviously coming from a higher power of the Most High God, man.
Right.
Read on.
And then not only that, what was going on here when David was about to die, Adonijah was declared himself a king.
Exactly.
Without waiting on the blessing from the father. He was changed everything up when David was in his on his sick bed.
When you read in chapter 1, read on. Jump to 1 Kings 3 and 5.
First Kings 3 and 5. In Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, ask what I should give thee.
So the Most High God appeared, Yahushua appeared to Solomon in a dream and asked him, what shall I give thee? Let's see what Solomon has, because a lot of times put ourselves in that position, especially Negroes in the world, man, they ask for everything that ain't important in this world, man. First and foremost, like we always bring out, be for the betterment of your nation, because not one man can stand above his nation. You are as strong as your weakest link, Israel. And that's one thing that the Bible is all about, building a strong nation, man. That's what the battle axis is about. Read on now.
And Solomon said, thou hast showed unto thy servant David my father great mercy.
He has showed David great mercy, because guess what? David went off in a few times, putting brothers on the line to get their wives, doing other things. But what? David also repented and didn't go back into those wicked deeds. That's one thing brothers got to learn. Brothers and sisters have to learn. Once you repent, you can't go back into that sin, because guess what? If you do, there remain no more sacrifice for sins. And we never know where the Most High stand in grace with us, Israel. So time is precious, man, to get yourself right. Read on up.
According as he walked before thee in truth. And
the truth is keeping the commandments. Read on.
And in righteousness and in unrighteousness of heart.
Uprightness.
And thou hast kept for him this great kindness, that thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne as it is this day.
Because it's always glorious. That's what we train our sons up for. You always want to leave your next generation to carry on in your steed, to keep pushing the Most High's will, to keep pushing for the Most High's business. So that's a blessing right there.
So that's letting you know, even though King David deathbed, he was going. It's exactly what he was doing, telling Solomon, hey, keep that charge going, keep
Exactly.
those commandments going. So he even to the death, he was keeping the commandments.
Because you always want to leave someone like unto yourself, to know that your lineage, that your heritage is going to be well taken care of after you long and gone, man. That's what this is all about. That's what help keeping a strong nation is all about. You good, Doc? Wiping them off?
Yeah.
All right.
You want me to continue?
Yeah, go ahead. Verse 7.
And now, O Lord my God, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David, my father.
Because guess we have to always remember now, never how much we get in status. Guess what? We always are the servants of the Most High God, man. Most High God gives brothers leadership over council. That's what we still are in servitude position. And the road that we have is for our people.
That's right. And the higher and higher up you go, the more and more servant you are. Guess what?
Exactly.
He a captain of a servant. He a captain servant. I'm a captain servant. He a captain servant. We are captain servant. So, so don't think it means we have to be more of a servant to the people than an officer have to be, or than a soldier have to be. So don't think just looking at he's a captain. That person has to be more of a servant to the people than you are if you are an officer or if you are a soldier or a member. So don't look at the rank as being something that people use it what the righteous use it as the righteousness of the Bible, not the unrighteousness of the Bible. So don't get this thing twisted.
Because we got to get one thing straight too. A lot of times brothers don't like order, man. And that's really our downfall as a nation of people. And that's what the Bible is putting back in us, order. We have to have order. It's no way around it, man, because guess what? Where it's not order, guess what? It's chaos, man.
Right.
Chaos will reign if it's not order. Go ahead.
Some of them like order, but they only like order when they run in order.
Exactly. Or one of the two.
Yeah, but they don't want to be in order. I have to be a servant to someone. And that's the thing about it. They understood order. The higher you up, the more of a servant you become.
Exactly. You know, the two goes hand in hand. There's no separation of it. Read on, huh?
And
you can start over verse 7.
And now, O Lord my God, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father. And I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. I
don't know what to do or what to even start from. That's what, because we are like little children, even in this truth, man. So we have to constantly go to the scriptures and get understanding of what we should do in this instance. Pray to the Most High God. Fast, Israel. Most High will open up this understanding to you to get the correct path to go. You got something?
And I believe he was 12 years old at the time he took this.
Took the throne.
Took the throne. And think about it. If you're 12 years old and God asks you what you want, you know, most 12-year-olds, they're like, just give me a PlayStation 4. You know, give me some Jordans. And, you know, he asking, you know, they mind wouldn't be where Solomon's mind is asking. Exactly. He spoke and asked more than the wise man, but it was a very wise decision what he asked for. It was actually better than anything that everybody else could have asked for.
Exactly, man.
Because wisdom give you everything that everybody was asking for anyway.
Give me read verse 8. Read on, huh?
Verse 8, and thy servant is in the midst of thy people, where thou hast chosen a great people.
Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Guess what? You are a great people, man. Don't ever let nobody tell you otherwise. Read on, huh?
That cannot be numbered nor counted for a multitude.
So we cannot be numbered. They try to take census of us each year, but guess what? We are like the sand of the sea and like the stars of the heavens. Read on, huh?
Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people.
And that's what we need to pray for. Use this example of what Solomon did. Guess what? Lord, give me a good heart that I may judge between right and wrong. We need those type of prayers. Read on, huh?
And that's another thing. People be talking about you can't judge. He asked for understanding to judge the people. To make sure that they stay in line and not go away from the Most High. That's why he was asked for the judgment. But hey, you got a great nation of people. You got a delicate piece of asset right here. I'm in the middle of it, so give me a mindset to be able to judge these people.
Exactly.
Man. Otherwise, I don't want to. I don't want it on my back that they go off. I don't want to let me judge this right, man.
Exactly. Read on verse 9 again.
Given therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad.
That he may make a difference, make a good difference between good judgments and bad judgments. Because a lot of times, brothers, leaders of camps out here, sometimes they make bad judgments, man. You know, that's not going to the Bible for a good understanding, too. Read on.
For who is able to judge this, thy so great a people?
It says, who is able to judge this great of a nation of people, man? You know, so that was a wonderful prayer that King Solomon asked for. Read on now. Let's see if the Most High gave it to him. Read on.
And the speech pleased the Lord that Solomon asked this thing.
So when we opening up our minds and ask for things that please God, guess what? He is happy in that thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
You got something?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
And God said unto him, because thou hast asked this thing and hast not asked for it thyself long life.
Because if brothers and sisters could get 3 wishes, that might be the first one. Make me live for forever.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, give me this big mansion that you ain't gonna see no parts of if you don't even make it to the kingdom. Give me this S550. Give me such and such that don't mean nothing. Read on, huh?
Mm-hmm. Neither has asked riches for thyself, nor has asked the life of thine enemies, but has asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment.
To discern what?
Judgment.
Read on, huh?
Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart.
So that was the first blessing that the Most High God gave Solomon. He gave him a wise and understanding heart. And it goes back to the point that Maccabees was making. Guess what? When you have wisdom, it's nothing that you can't attain to,
Mm-hmm.
especially the Most High's wisdom. Not the wisdom of this world, but the wisdom from above. Mm-hmm. Read on now.
So that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee.
And that's a key point right there. Even that last part, guess what? It ain't no king that was wise as King Solomon after thee. That's up until the time of now. So all the Greek philosophers, like our people like to hold it to esteem, guess what? They didn't have nothing on King Solomon. Matter of fact, guess what? They got that from King Solomon, a lot of that stuff. Read on. You got some up?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
And I have also given thee that which thou hast not asked, both riches and honor.
So God gave him, guess what? Riches and honor. He was the richest king ever. Bill Gates, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers had nothing on King Solomon. Read on, huh?
So that there should not be any among the kings like unto thee all thy days.
All thy days. Read on, huh?
And if thou will walk in my ways to keep my statutes and my commandments.
Hey, it says, and if, hey, it's a flip side to that. If you do these things, guess what? You will never run out of those things, but it's a flip side. If you don't do it, guess what? I'm going to jack you up. And you never know how it's going to go. Most I can punish you through your children, through your wife, through your even yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Read on, huh?
As thy father David did walk, then I will lengthen thy days.
Mm-hmm.
And Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And he came to Jerusalem and stood before the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and offered up burnt offerings, and offered peace offerings, and made a feast to all his servants. Then came there 2 women that were harlots unto the king, and stood before him.
So this is the first matter, guess what, that he is fit to judge as being a king. Read on, huh?
And the one woman said, my Lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child. I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the 3rd day after I was delivered that this woman was delivered also.
So these 2 harlot sisters, messing around, they had babies about the same time. Read on.
And also we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we 2 in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman child died in the night because she overlaid it.
She probably put a blanket over the baby and suffocated the baby, or had it wrong.
No, she actually just probably fell asleep and rolled over on the baby and suffocated the baby.
Suffocated the baby. Go ahead, Op.
And where we at?
Verse 20.
Verse 20. And she arose at night and took my son from beside me.
So this wicked sister, her baby died, but then she go and take the other sister's child to claim it as her own.
And that's kind of really messed up, man. It's like somebody you're like, man, I know my baby, man.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
You know your child, man.
Go ahead.
Read
And this
on.
goes on today because they go in the
Yep.
hospitals now. Y'all see them stealing babies out of hospital. Your child, the baby's been kidnapped right out of mother's hand at the grocery store and living as somebody else's child, thinking that, and that's what they do, man.
And you got to understand this too. You got to think also like say for example, it's an incidents like I know Edomites do this all the time. They babies they come out retarded or something like that. And they see like some of the deficiency or something wrong with their baby. Oh, everybody baby on the swivel, man.
They will swap them out.
They will swap them out,
Yeah.
man.
And
Swap 'em out.
like Ox said, it's Edom that do it, but guess what? It's also Israelites
Yeah,
that do
it
this
is.
wicked stuff
It
too.
is.
You know, read on.
Yeah.
And she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me, while thy handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom.
She switched the babies, man. Read on.
And when I arose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son.
She knew that this was not her son. Like Ak was bringing out, you know who your children are. You probably could know who your child is without even seeing it. You could a certain scent or a certain touch. Read on up.
It was not my son, which I did bear. And the other woman said, nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son.
So she was being wicked. Also adding sin to sin.
And
she was stealing, then she lying now.
Now, and how you gonna put a dead baby in somebody else's bed, man?
And not think that the sister ain't gonna know it. That's just was being wicked and selfish.
And then the thing about it, you could tell that this lady was not, she was so wicked. She didn't pay attention to her child being born, because apparently she didn't think that the lady would even know the difference between her child, which means the lady who had the child that was alive, she actually took time. You know, like women that have babies and they just be examining them all over.
Yeah.
I remember my ex-wife used to just stare at the baby 24/7. I'd be like, man, that baby ain't gonna go nowhere. But I guess that's a woman thing. Going to a man thing, you know, we like, shoot, that's the son, man, I'm good. And we outside of gone, but they did sit there and
don't know what to do, just man. And like this,
2 wrinkles right here, that little mole right there. Y'all know everything about them, you know. And but this woman apparently
she was reckless.
Didn't examine her baby. She just had him, was ready to hit the streets again. You know what I'm saying?
And the thing is, of course, look, if me and if we brothers and his baby died, he bring his baby and he swap my baby. We brothers. Come on, man. I'm gonna be looking at my brother like, hey, man.
Exactly.
Man, you better give me my son, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's coming into, you know, just explaining it like not just on the kind of laughable level, but there's some high level wickedness going on right now.
Verse 23.
Verse 23. They said the king, the one said, this is my son that liveth, and thy son is the dead. And the other said, nay, but thy son is the dead, and my son is the living.
So they brought the matter to King Solomon. They tell him going back and forth. Read on up.
And the king said, bring me a sword.
He said, what?
Bring me a sword.
So King David, guess what was that? Down with wisdom and understanding said, bring him a sword. Read on.
And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, divide the living child in two, and give him half to one and half to the other.
So he was saying, cut the baby in half, and y'all can split the baby. Read on.
Then spake the woman who the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, oh, my Lord, give her the living child.
So you can tell who child this was, because guess what? You'd rather see your child give it to someone else than to see your child dead. Because if you cutting the baby in half, the baby's obviously not going to live. Read on up.
Oh, and in no wise slay it. But the other said, let it be neither mine nor thine, but divide.
Now the other wicked one, who we already know, she was saying, divide it. This is some wicked, high-level wickedness.
Because her baby was gone. That's why she was like, kill her baby too.
You know, read on up.
Then the king answered and said, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof.
She is the what?
Mother thereof.
Because the Most High God gave him a heart of wisdom and in judgment and in understanding. He knew who the real mother was, because any woman know that they rather see their child with another family than to see it dead. Read on up.
And in all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to do judgment.
To do what?
To do judgment.
To correct our people when matters come up. That was, he was wise in judgment to do that. Give me Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and 1.
While you getting it, it let you know when you taking the office of leadership or in the role of a leader of a church or a council that you deal with. As soon as King David got his role off the top, he had a task right at him.
Right at him.
So you got to stay in the spirit, man. That's the only way you can keep that charge going.
Exactly. And that's another good point that we gonna home in and relate to brothers today. Guess what? When you wake up to this truth, brothers and sisters, you cannot make haste because it's problems that need solving in Israel. And you have to be here to solve them, Israel. You got to get in the game. You got to get in the fight with your brothers and sisters. You have to. There's no way around it, man. That's how you build as a brother. That's how you build as neighbors. Guess what? That's how we build as a nation collectively.
That's right.
That's like when we started the battle axes. I mean, day one, we was already in the state of judgment. A whole lot of stuff occurring. Like, whoa, had us blown away. Like, man, golly, I ain't know all this is gonna go down.
Exactly. But guess what? You got to take them head on so you can move forward, Israel. You got to, man, so we can get busy with the Most High's work. Read verse 7 and 1.
The Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 1. I myself also am a mortal man.
So King Solomon let them know he was a mortal man. Even though he was the richest and the wisest ever, he still was just a mortal man. Read on.
Like to all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth. And in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months, being compacted in blood of the seed of man,
of the sperm of man. Read on.
And the pleasure that came with sleep. And I should let y'all know that he made sex for pleasure. So otherwise, if there wasn't no pleasure in the sex, wouldn't none of y'all be here.
Read on up.
And when I was born, I drew in the common air and fell upon the earth, which is of like nature. And the first voice which I uttered was crying, as all others do.
So let's talk about him being born. Read on up.
I was nursed in swaddling clothes and with cares. For there is no king that had any other beginning of birth.
Read verse 5 again.
For there is no king that had any other beginning of birth.
And that's also going into the immaculate deception. There's no other king or no other man that had any other birth. And that's letting you know that, guess what? Even Christ came of a man's seed through a woman. That's what this is telling you. That's the precept to that in Matthew. Read on up.
For all men have one interest into life.
All men have one interest into life. Guess what? Through a woman. Read on up.
And the light going out.
And the light going out. Death. Read on up.
Wherefore I prayed and understanding was given me.
The same thing, matching up with what was said in First Kings. He prayed for understanding and it was given unto him because he didn't ask for other things, selfish prayers. Read on up. I
called upon God and the spirit of wisdom came to me.
And the spirit of wisdom came into me. That's what brothers and sisters got to constantly praying for. The spirit of wisdom. Read on up.
I preferred her before sceptres. And
read verse 8 again.
I preferred her before sceptres.
He preferred her. The Bible talks about wisdom in the feminine, in the feminine form. So that's the her that he's talking about. Sceptres is going into kingdoms or rulership. Read on up.
And thrones and esteemed riches, nothing in comparison of her.
Nothing can compare to the Most High God's wisdom. With all that, guess what? You don't want riches, you want wisdom. Because with your wisdom, you can get those things. Those things come afterwards. You want to get wisdom of the Most High God first. Read on up.
Neither compared I unto her any precious stone.
And you can compare no diamond, no precious stones unto wisdom. Read on up.
Because all gold in respect of her is as little sand.
You can't even compare gold to wisdom. Read on up.
And silver shall be counted as clay before her.
Read on up.
I love her above health and beauty.
Guess what? You got to love the wisdom of this Bible before even your health and your beauty. Because guess what? If you have wisdom, you'll know how to keep yourself healthy. Those things go hand in hand and beautify.
That's right.
Read on up.
And choose to have her instead of light. For the light that cometh from her never goeth out.
Guess what? This wisdom of light never goes out. You got the wisdom of this word. Guess what? It'll stay bright for a little while, but it's not an internal flame like the Most High God's wisdom, man. Read on up.
All good things together came to me with her, and innumerable riches in her hand.
So he got innumerable riches in her hands. Read on.
And I rejoice in them all, because wisdom goeth before them, and I knew not that she was the mother of them.
Guess what? She was the beginning of all the things that Solomon got. So that's what we tell brothers and sisters. Seek God's wisdom. The wisdom of the Bible is his law, statutes, and commandments. And all those things will be added on to you. Jump down to verse 17.
And this is also talking about Yahweh also, because Yahweh was the word of the Most High God, and he was the light, and that's what wisdom bring out. This is actually it's showing you that also. But where you at now?
Verse 17.
Verse 17. For he had given me certain knowledge of one thing, of the things that are named to know how the world was made.
Hold up. Solomon knew how the world was made. We got all these deep thinkers, these astrophysicists. They bring forth the theoretical questions and
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory. Guess what? Solomon knew that thing. He didn't have to think about it. He already knew how God created the heavens and the earth. Read on now.
And the operations of elements.
And the operations of the elements. He knew about zinc. He knew about iron. He knew about things like lightning. They tell us that Benjamin Franklin, a lightning flew down on a string. Man, that's just total nonsense, man. A bolt of lightning is hotter than the surface of the sun. So how can it come down on a string? That makes no sense, man. Fairy tales what we've been taught up in this world.
And it's not a string, it's not a conductor. It don't even conduct energy.
It don't even make no sense, man. You just think about it, but a lot of times our people eat it up because it comes from a so-called white man.
And what crazy person in their right mind gonna have a kite with a key on the end of it, run around in the middle of a dang on storm, man?
Makes no sense, man.
It makes no sense.
Like the lightning is like the key is gonna trap the lightning, man. The lightning will blow that key up, man.
No doubt.
No, it just makes no sense, man. Read on up.
It should have been holding a metal pipe or something. If he wanted to really get to some electricity. But where we at?
Verse 18.
The beginning.
He knew the beginning. He knew things about in Genesis. The what?
The
He
ending.
knew how the Most High was gonna overthrow the ending of the world, Esau, namely. Read on.
In midst of time.
And he knew about things in the Middle Ages. King Solomon knew all these things, man. Read on up.
The altercations of the turning of the sun. Alterations of the turning of the sun.
He knew how the sun revolves around the earth, not how the earth revolves around the sun, Israel. These are the things King Solomon knew all these things. Read on up.
And the change of season.
He knew about the change of the seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter. Read on.
The circles of years.
He knew about the circuits of years. Read on up.
And the positions of stars.
Guess what? He was the first astrologist. Read on up.
The natures of living creatures.
He knew about creatures. Read on up.
And the furies of wild beasts.
He know if you go into the Nile River, obviously a crocodile will eat you up if you're not careful. You don't need to be like Stephen Irwin, the crocodile hunter, and do these things, man. We know, guess what? They got teeth, it'll kill you, it'll eat you, man. To go further than that, hey, guess what? That's out of my hands, man.
That's about Jacob. We playing, man. We chilling in the tent.
Exactly, man. We not trying to go all out there like Esau and them be doing. We don't.
Yeah, you can tell that's part of our DNA. That's something we know them things too. And you know, the other nations don't. Like I said,
exactly.
The Himalayas frozen up there. Over 1,000 and some people died up there. You're not finna see no black folks putting on no nothing to go walk up. Nah, I believe.
I believe it. Exactly. We see the snow, we believe.
It's a fucking ocean. I believe. I believe. And we ain't doing it. We just don't do those things. Because we got a little wisdom of nature. We know, yeah, that'll kill you.
Exactly.
Where we at?
Uh,
Chapter what? Verse what?
Verse 20 again.
Verse 20. The natures of living creatures and the furies of wild beasts, the balance of winds,
The violence of winds, tornadoes, and so forth. Read on up.
and the reasoning of men,
And the reasonings of men. Read on up.
the diversities of plants,
He knew about plants, the antidotes that's within plants. Read on up.
and the virtues of roots.
And the virtues of roots. King Solomon knew about all these things, medicine, all these type of things that deal with roots. What's good for you? What's bad for you? Read on up.
All such things are either secret or manifest. Them I know.
Guess what? He knew the secrets too of things that are manifest or secrets. He knew all those types of things.
Man, read verse 21 again.
And all such
Stop,
things
stop. He said, in all such things. Read.
as either secret or manifest,
Mhm.
them I know.
He said either secret or manifest. He said, I know all of it, man. So guess what? King Solomon was so wise that look, you can't come talk to King Solomon with no trickery, no nothing.
Exactly.
He know where you're going and know where you know where you're coming from, and know where you're going, man.
Exactly.
So that's why his name was feared amongst people, because he knew everything.
Exactly. And that's a little doctor to the philosophies today. They trying to think about quantum stuff. Guess what? King Solomon knew about this stuff. It says, namely, as either secret or manifest. That stuff is not even manifest yet. And guess what? King Solomon knew about these types of things, man. That's the type of people that we have in our nation of people with the power of the Most High God, man. Nothing is impossible with God, man. Read on up, verse 22.
For wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me.
Wisdom taught him. Read on up.
For in her is an understanding spirit, holy, one only, manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled.
Wisdom, the Most High's wisdom is undefiled. Going into, guess what? Christianity, going into Buddhism, going into Christian and all these other things. Islam, that stuff cannot touch the wisdom of the Bible, Israel. Read on up.
Not subject to hurt, loving the thing that is good, quick.
Hold up, go back to that undefiled. You missed one. Right after
undefiled, plain.
Plain too. That's a lot of things. A lot of times people want to be so deep, you forget the Bible is plain.
Look, check it out. Go before undefiled. They word before undefiled.
Clear.
The same
Exactly
thing.
the same
Clear,
thing.
plain. You had to say it 2 times. Clear, plain. This is plain.
Not trying to be so deep, not trying to one up your brother, man. Like you said, clear and plain. Read on up.
Not subject to hurt.
So this truth cannot be hurt. Esau, the other nations, they're gonna try to throw the bus at us, gonna try to throw the whole ship, but this truth is not gonna be by the philosophies and doctrines that they bring. Like I always say, we undefeated out there on that corner. Can't nothing stand against this Bible. Read on up.
Loving the thing that is good.
Loving the things that are good. Read on up.
Quick, which cannot be letted. Ready to do good.
Ready to do good, Israel. That's what this is all about, man. And we know that doing good is what? Romans 7 and 12, keeping the commandments, Israel. It all points back to the commandments. Give me Song of Solomon 1 and 5. You know, we have to always constantly touch on this, man, because you know they love to say that King Solomon didn't write songs of Solomon, which is crazy because it's Songs of Solomon, man. I mean, the title lets you know that he wrote it, man.
So that's show crazy.
That's crazy. But if they don't, hey, guess what? We got precepts for that.
Somebody took my song aside, not my book.
Hey. He started Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 1. And y'all excuse, like he got a glass on today, man.
Man, I ain't no glass of world. I just got used to this thing, man.
You got that out.
Yeah, no
Go ahead,
song,
The book of Songs, Psalm chapter 1, verse 5.
Start it. Hold up.
I got
Read the title
it.
and read the first verse. You got it out.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The Song of Solomon,
The
chapter 1.
Songs of Solomon, man. We got to let that sink in, man. The Songs of Solomon. Read on up.
Chapter 1, verse 5.
Verse 1. Start at 1.
At 1, verse 1. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon.
Then we home in 2 points. First, the title being, if they didn't believe the title, guess what? He got verse 1 to even back that up. The Songs of Songs, which is Solomon's. This is a parable that Solomon is writing. Remember, he was endowed with all wisdom. So a lot of things, guess what? It's like the things that Lil Wayne write. A lot of times you read it on the paper, it's parables that he's speaking. Read on up. Now jump down to 5.
Verse 5. I am black, but comely.
He's saying he is black, but comely. He's dark skinned, but guess what? He's good looking. Read on up.
Ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar.
Even Kedar means black face, black skin. Read on when you look it up in the Zondervan. Read on.
As the curtains of Solomon.
As the curtains of Solomon. A lot of times people don't even understand that. Guess what? Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 31 to further prove that he is. Write this in your Bibles, Israel. We go over this a lot. You know, we try to cover this each and every time because
Chapter what?
1 Kings chapter 4, verse 31. Because a lot of times, you know, Christian apologists, Christianities, they read that, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. That's not talking about him. Well, he got 1 Kings to prove it. And then we're going to pull another one.
For he was wiser than all
Read
men.
the title of the book again up.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 4, verse 31.
Uh-huh.
For he was wiser than all men.
So King Solomon was wiser than all men. Read on up.
Than Ethan.
Then Ethan, read on.
The Ezrahite,
Uh-huh.
and Heman,
Uh-huh.
and Chalcol,
Yeah, Shakal.
and Darda, the son of Mahal, and his fame was in all nations round about.
Guess what? His fame was in the Moabites. His fame was in the Ammonites. Guess what? His fame was in the Canaanites. It was in the Elamites. His fame went throughout all that area over there, what they call the Middle East today. Read on up.
And he spake 3,000 proverbs.
And he spake 3,000 proverbs. He wrote the book of Proverbs. Proverbs are wise sayings. He wrote 3,000 of them. Read on up.
And his songs were 1,005.
And his what?
Songs were 1,005.
And Songs of Solomon were 1,005. Read on up.
And he spake of trees from the cedar tree, with is in Lebanon.
That is
in Lebanon, even unto the hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of breasts of
beast.
Salakia, beasts of and fowls, and of creeping things, which things and of fishes. And there came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon, from all kings to the earth, which had heard of his wisdom.
Of his wisdom. So guess what? Kings, not only they know that he was wise, they will come and seek his advice, Israel. So like we were saying, even about the Greeks, Plato, them, all them, that history was passed down to them, man. A lot of those records they hold and they got from King Solomon, Israel, the wisest king ever. Give me Sirach 47 and 15 now. Got some up?
Yeah.
We'll get you another witness.
47:15.
Yeah.
The book of Sirach, chapter 47, verse 15. Thy soul covered the whole earth.
It's going into King Solomon. We're going to come back to this, but we just want these precepts. His soul, meaning the wisdom that he had, covered the whole earth. All nations wanted to come and hear what Solomon had to say. Read on up.
And thou fillest it with dark parables.
Dark was going into things that's hard to interpret. Read on up.
Thy name went far unto the islands.
So his name was even unto the islands. Read on up.
And for thy peace thou was beloved.
And for thy peace thou was beloved, because the Most High gave him peace on all sides. Read on up.
The countries marveled at thee for thy songs.
For thy what?
For thy songs.
Songs of Solomon. For thy songs. Read on up.
And proverbs.
And proverbs.
And parables. And interpretation.
And the interpretations of those things. They marveled at him for that. They knew that the Most High God was dealing with King Solomon. So they went all out their way to come and seek his advice. So that's letting you know, guess what? He wrote Songs of Solomon, Israel.
That's right.
Give me Ecclesiastes 7:25 now. Ecclesiastes.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 25. And I applied my heart to know and to search and to seek out
So
wisdom.
we all know that he wanted wisdom, and the Most High gave him that. But it's also he wanted to know all wisdom. King Solomon wanted to know everything. Read on out.
And the reason of things, and to know the wickedness of folly.
And to know what?
The wickedness of folly.
He wanted to even know the wickedness of folly. So if you want to know those things, why people sin, guess what? That means you have to deal in those types of things too. Read on out.
Even of foolishness.
Even of foolishness. Why people do this when they're so dumb? Read on out.
And madness.
And madness. He wanted to know why people are crazy. You know, King Solomon wanted to know all these things, Israel. So for him to wanted to know that, like I said, he had to deal in those type of things, and that's mainly why he went off in the end time of his kingdom too. You got some more?
Get a priest. Ecclesiastes 1:17. It's saying the same thing. Read
the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 17. And I gave my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. And I perceive that this also is vexation of the spirit.
Read on.
For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increases knowledge increases sorrow.
So King Solomon, he know, man, look, he, like I said, he wanted to know all wisdom. So with knowing all wisdom, it brought sorrow into Solomon's heart too.
Read verse 17 again, man. Of Ecclesiastes 1:17.
And I gave my heart to know wisdom.
So, like you said, read on out.
And to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is a vexation of spirit.
King Solomon is letting you know, guess what? Don't do it. I already dealt in that, so it's no need for you to go into that. That's vexation and folly too, man. So just don't do it. The main thing, like he writes at the end of the scriptures, this is keep the commandments. This is the whole duty of man. So you don't need to go into those things. Guess what? I already experienced those things, Israel. Ecclesiastes is what is the book of regret. You know, because he's telling you what things not to do. Keep doing those things. Keep keeping the commandments. But when you're trying to go all off and be deeper than you're supposed to be, guess what? That is vexation of your spirit. That will vex your spirit, Israel.
And let me show you something. It says, I perceive that this also is a vexation of spirit. When you go into that definition of vexation, that vexation is grasping of the wind. So when you're just trying to grab the wind, you're not going to get nowhere.
Exactly.
That's what it's saying. That's what he's like what Ak was just telling you. You're not going to get nowhere trying to know everything. You're not going to do. You're just grasping at the wind.
Matter of fact, jump up to verse 16 right quick. We can go back there. Go verse 16 right quick.
I commune with my own heart, saying, lo, I am come to great estate, and I've got more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem.
Now he said that I got more wisdom than everybody that been before me. I got more wisdom than all these people. So now, like I'm saying, now that I done went through with all this folly and madness, look, I even tried some stuff that they didn't even do.
Exactly.
I did this. He telling you, look, is he gonna read on down? He's gonna tell you that, hey, tell you, like especially when you go into chapter 2, it definitely tells you all the things of do's and don'ts, all the stuff, all the folly and madness, there's something that he done went through. But read on up.
My heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge.
Yeah, he said now his heart has great experience of wisdom and knowledge. Now read verse 17.
And I gave my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is a vexation of spirit.
Like I prefer to bring it out. Now read verse 18.
For in much wisdom is much grief.
See, because he knew more than all his forefathers that was before him, and he had endowed with all wisdom. Guess what? Now all the wisdom that he was obtaining, even the madness and folly, guess what? It brings forth much grief and much sorrow that came to it, because it was vexation of spirit. Go ahead,
because even we have to just think about that. He knew everything. He knew the beginning, the middle, and the end of times. He knew that we was gonna go into captivity. So that grieved him. He knew that, guess what? He was gonna go off. He knew these type of things. So when you increase in wisdom, you increase in sorrow too, because even with us, we know how much they have destroyed our people. So guess what? We sad constantly. You know, we look at the state of my people. We know where we were and where we are now. So that grieves, that vexes our spirit, man, to know that we the greatest people on the earth, but we blow everybody, man. So like I said, a wise man, what's that, Ecclesiastes 7:7? Read that out.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad.
Maketh a wise man mad. If you wise, guess what? You will be mad for the state of our nation of people. To know where we came from and to know where we at, man. It vexes your spirit, man. And if you're not vexed, it's something wrong with you, man. Honestly, read on out.
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
And a gift is destroying our heart. That's why people are destroyed, because they have plenty of gifts to take them away from thinking they not oppressed as a nation of people.
Yeah, and the gifts that they give them, smoking cigarettes,
Yep.
having beat, you get everybody equal.
Yep.
Guess what? God loves everybody, and all of those is madness and folly.
Exactly.
And so that's another thing also. Everybody look at he had all his wives. All them wives and concubines, that wasn't a sexual act. It was a learning of knowledge act. He was
We're gonna
trying
touch on that.
He was trying to learn women. He was trying to learn everything. So we don't look at it like, you know, he wasn't no what is that, Wilt Chamberlain. He wasn't trying to be like that. It was a learning experience.
Exactly. And that was the focal point. Remember, he wanted to know everything. Wisdom and madness and folly. We know that madness and folly is going into sin. He wanted to know about that too. Why people sin? Why do they do that, man? Why do they break God's commandments, man? So he wanted to know all these types of things, man. Both the good and the bad parts. Give me, you got some more?
Now, I was just going to give a
Go ahead.
precept, the Ecclesiastes 7:7, that precept. Solomon just quoting the Bible, man. His wisdom was through the knowledge of the Most High God, so he was speaking God's word. Go to Exodus 23:8. This is where he pulled it from. Y'all make sure y'all writing the precepts down in y'all book. Thing is, that's he wasn't just speaking his own words. Solomon spoke he spoke what the Lord said.
Exactly.
When you get there, read that up.
The book of Exodus, chapter 23, verse 8. And thou shalt keep no gift.
Thou shalt take.
Thou shalt take no gift. For the gift blinded the wise.
For the gift do what?
Blinded the wise. And perverted the words of the righteous.
See, because that's the thing. That's the philosophy, man. That can be a physical gift. That can be a spiritual gift.
Exactly.
That can be a gift that's hidden that you don't know that you're getting. Then once you see, oh man, no, don't take those gifts. Just like we tell Esau all the time, we don't want your gift, we want the kingdom.
Exactly, man.
They're like 501c3 when they're giving them the tax deductions and all. It blinds it blinds the wise. Even though they look through this Bible and see nothing in it, be like, man, they don't see nothing in it. That's why when you bring it to the preacher, you be like, the preacher, don't you read that Bible every day? And you be like, you don't know none of this. Because he blinded by the gift that he's getting. He got a Rolls Royce, he got a jet. You think, sure, he got what he thought he was gonna get out the Bible. God bless me.
Give me Ecclesiastes 9:18 now.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9, verse 18.
Because you know, we hear this sometimes too. When we just pick up weapons, when we just fight them back. Let's see what the Bible is. Read on out.
Wisdom is better than weapons of war.
Read that again now.
Wisdom is better than weapons of war.
We have to be wise in this. We got to understand we are in captivity. They control everything that we do. Guess what? The wisdom of this Bible is going to break them in half, man. All we need is the words of this Bible, man. Because we have to confounding their spirit, vexing their spirit, showing them all the atrocities that they did. First off, we showing them that we the Israelites, that they have been treating God's people terribly in this captivity, man. Right. That's first and foremost. And then guess what? We breaking them in half with these scriptures, man, because it's lining up perfectly with them. Go ahead.
And with wisdom, you construct your enemy to kill each other.
Yeah.
Without ever picking up the word. And that's what's going on now, because you got some of them who know that we're the Israelites, some of them who was misled, just like the rest of the Israelites, they got a different understanding. Then when it all comes down to them, when we out there and we cutting them up, they going back. We don't see it, but they going back. Y'all lied to us about this. So we don't see those things that's going on. It's word of God. He said it come back. It don't come back void at all. It's setting out to do work. So when they see this truth, they like, because when they coming out the Bible with that.
Yep.
That is in the Bible. That's in the Bible. That's in the Bible. That's in the Bible. So when they go back to their other people, they gotta go like, man, them people was right. And then the other one like, no, they not. It's like it's in the Bible. So now they arguing about the Bible. Now they don't like each other. We don't see these things that's going on, but these are the things that's going on. That's why it's important sometimes, even when the Edomites out there, the Moabites out there. That's why we say something to them. Yeah, because I want you to go back and just have a discussion on this. Because now, when you look at this Bible, you're gonna go in there and say they were right.
Yeah, and it is funny though that they do that. Because one thing about it, like you said, I can guarantee you, when they see us out there on them street corners, and they like a lot of people. This is one of the main questions we all get. Y'all reading that out it's in the Bible? Yes, this is in the Bible. Well, what Bible is it? Then we show them the Bible. They like, dang, this is actually in the Bible.
Exactly, man.
And like me and Jeremiah was in the store the other day, we came across one dude supposed to be from Pakistan, the other one supposed to be from India. And I don't know, man. I had gotten the spirit on this guy, man, and I told him his whole history of his country. And he was like just sitting there, he was just like, then I'm in the store, so we try to back out when they get customers that come into the store, so we sit on the back. Well, the guy started asking questions with his customers in there. I'm like, okay, that means he wanted to go ahead and continue. Man, when we left that store, man, they were just both sitting there, man. I promise you, their jaws was on the ground. They were just like, and they were so confounded. They probably said they thought we was just some two dumb niggas. You know what I'm saying? And I was like I said, we historians. And they said, he left out and he was like, yeah, leave. Because then, I mean, he didn't even know the stuff about his own country. Then he tried to lie about it. Then he come back and was like, yeah,
you're right.
And that's what the wisdom of this Bible do. It takes you and gives you so much more than you were accustomed to. You know, we go into the history, we go into even economics, all type. You touch on a plethora of things, man, coming into the truth and in God's wisdom, you know, so to speak. Jump up to verse 16 right quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 16.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 16. Then said I, wisdom is better than strength.
That's what wisdom is better than strength, Israel. Talking about economic strength or military strength. Read on up.
Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised.
Read that again.
Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised.
Guess what? We are the poor, Israel. Now wisdom is despised amongst our people. Matter of fact, we're going to get that. Give me Isaiah 14:32 to show you that Israel is the poor that the scriptures is talking about. Because guess what? We're poor in spirit. You know, a lot of times we are the strongest nation, but guess what? Right now, we're the most spiritually weak right now.
Or spiritually broken.
Spiritually broken, exactly. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 32, I mean.
I was going to say. What shall, the book of Isaiah chapter 14, verse 32. What shall one then answer the messenger of the nations that the Lord had found in Zion?
Zion is Israel. Read on up.
And the poor of his people shall trust in it.
And the poor of what?
His people shall trust in it.
Letting you know that Israel is the poor that the Bible is talking about. So let's go back. Read 16 again in Ecclesiastes 9 and 16.
Book of Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 16. Then said I, wisdom is better than strength.
Hold on, let me touch something on that.
Go ahead.
You said wisdom is better than strength. Now, I said, it is to me like, so it is military might and physical might. You got to think. No matter, this man can have 1,000 of them, but he don't know how to think.
Yeah.
But look at, but you might be intimidated with him, but if you outthink him, you pretty much can beat him.
Yeah. And wisdom, you can literally think of something to get the strong man to do the work that you need to get done.
That's right.
without having to lift a finger.
Exactly.
That's what we can do. And that's why they try to portray themselves as wise. Our enemies do that right now because it's their kingdom. So they know all the rules. So when we don't know the rules, see, they make it seem like they use us with their wisdom in their kingdom. They use us to do their work because they're wise in their kingdom. But the wisdom that we must go back to is our God because it overrides there. That's why we get past them. And next thing you know, you see some of us owning companies got the white man working for us. And that we be like, how did that happen? Because he's actually a wiser man than all of them, but he just learned how to get these wisdom of the Most High.
And we got to understand, guess what? They got a 400-year head start on us. And guess what? We down as a nation of people, if we come back to God's wisdom, man, we can suppress them in no time, man. That's the whole key. We got to understand that we cannot think outside of the Bible, man. The Bible is our strength. It is our wisdom. It's a weapon, man. And our people have to learn to use it rightfully.
Because that wasn't this foolishness to God.
Exactly, man. We're going to get that precept later on, too. Read verse 16 again.
Verse 16. Then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised.
Our wisdom is despised when we out there on those corners. And read on.
And his words are not heard.
And his words is not what?
Heard.
And his words is not heard when we telling our people, men, grow a beard. Men, wear fringes. Sisters, put on the dress. Keep the Sabbath. Don't celebrate Christmas. Our words are not heard. The Bible words are not heard, man. And that's the destruction of our nation. Because they're going to spend money that they don't even have for a nation that don't care nothing about them, man. To keep them poor and poor, man. I know I used to do it, man. So I know our people out there struggling right now, man. Trying to make Bobby or Brandon or whoever happy for a toy they're not going to care nothing about 2 days later, man. You know, it makes no sense, man. We got to come up out of this nonsense and this folly, man.
30 minutes later, not just 2 days.
Yeah, exactly, man. You know, the church's attention span ain't but about this a second, man. So, like I said, 30 minutes later, you know, give me 1 Kings 11:1. So Solomon was very wise. Now we're gonna start to go into his downfall.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, verse 1. But King Solomon loves many strange women.
So it says he loved many strange women. It's gonna name them. Read on up.
Together with the daughters of Pharaoh,
the Egyptians. Read on.
Women of the Moabites,
Chinese women,
Ammonites,
Japanese,
Edomites,
so-called Caucasians,
Zidonians,
Mohamites, Africans,
the Hittites.
And Hittites, guess what? These are Africans. King Solomon, he messed with all of them, man. You know, read on up.
And the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, you should not go into them.
And the Most High warned us about this. Don't mess with these other nations. Read on up.
Neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their God.
Read that again, because a lot of times brothers think they just so spiritually strong that they can override what the Most High God says. Read that again.
For surely.
It says, for surely. That means it will happen if you do this. Read on.
They will turn away your heart after their God.
After their gods. They'll have you up in there serving all type of madness and abominations. Go ahead,
Solomon clave. Solomon clave unto these in love.
He clave unto them. Like, guess what? The other nations gonna cleave unto us in Isaiah 14. He clave unto them in wickedness, man. Go ahead,
and because at this time, it was taken away. They knew who their God was. They knew who they were as a people, and they worshiped their God. But then he was saying they're gonna take them away. Now today, they there to keep you asleep. They there to keep you not knowing who you are, not making sure your kids never know about their God. So it's a different story right now. It's the same thing, but a different story because we're in different places now.
And see, in King Solomon, he like you say, he's speaking through the prophets that was before him. That precept for 1 Kings 11:3, their precept is Deuteronomy 7:3.
Exactly.
It says we shouldn't get our children to the other nation, or we shouldn't give our sons or our daughters, because he said, for surely it would turn you away from me. That's what the Bible says.
Exactly. Y'all make sure, like I say, write those precepts, because the kings, the prophets before them, they wasn't speaking their own words. They were speaking what Moses had said. Guess what? Christ spoke what Moses had said, man. They wasn't coming out of their own interpretation or their own vain thoughts, man. They did the will of the Most High God, man, in the scriptures, in the Torah, as brothers would say. You trying to one up brothers or the Tanakh. These brothers come up out of that, man. You got to understand, just keep the commandments, man. Keep it simple and plain and clear, Israel. Read verse 3.
And he had 700 wives,
So King Solomon had 700 wives, Israel. Read on.
princesses, and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart.
And his wives turned away his heart, because guess what? He was dealing with the other nations. You know, that was a part of that madness and folly he was dealing in.
And also read verse 3 from the top right.
I wanted to go back and say something to it.
Yeah, go ahead,
And he had 700 wives,
What he call his wife?
princesses. That's what
He
I was
called his
going to
wife princesses.
All praise.
Because tell them what queen means.
Queen is a harlot. That word is, I heard a dude just saying that the other day. No, that queen, the etymology, he talking about, if you go to the etymology is queen. Queen is actually a harlot. So you women out there calling yourself queen, you calling yourself a hoe, a woman with a nasty mouth. You know, that's what you're calling yourself.
And that's the reason why that's the reason why y'all so tricked to call each other bitches and hoes now. That's why y'all can call each other. That's why you say queens, because y'all don't know no better, man.
And women be talking, I'm a queen. Yeah. I believe you. I believe you. And
now go ahead,
but no, go ahead, man.
Now go ahead. You lost your thought.
Yeah, I did, because maybe you said something.
Because a lot of times they get this from this Pan-Africanism, man. Our people got to come up out of it, man. Egyptology, all this different type of stuff. That is Hamites or Africans. We are Israelites or so-called Negroes, man. But Israelites, man, that's just a byword. Even though we look the same, we're not the same race of people. And go ahead.
And he called 700. He got 700 wives, 300 concubines. He the greatest king on the planet. Not didn't call nobody a queen. Not one. So, and that's just the only thing that's gotten everybody into. Whereas women want to get back to trying to be equal to the man. She a king, I'm a queen. And he looking like, if you're a queen, I don't want you. You can go on, give me a princess up here. I'll take one of them, but I don't want no queen up here. Because you're telling me I got a harlot up here. And if you that shoot, going on somewhere.
That goes to say how people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, man. You don't know no better. Look, a lot of times people, it goes also, look, your own tongue fall on you for saying things you don't know.
Yeah,
you know not, man.
And sisters, if you out there and y'all be on, I see it on Facebook 24/7, and it's always the brothers come behind them. Yeah, queen, you're a queen, and man, that brother just want to get with you.
That's it, and that's the main thing we got to always constantly hit on too. Brothers trying to get inside your pants, so they filling your head up with things that kind of put you in that thing where you just fall lovey-dovey for them. Then guess what? Like I always say, leave you with a baby and he gone.
And a lot of them now, especially when they get in this truth, they in a rush. I need a woman right now. I need me one of these. Man, that's because what you need is to get back in this law, statutes, the man, and get in this Bible and let the Most High bring whatever He's gonna bring to you. That'll come.
Exactly.
But if you don't, all this, and a lot of them, as soon as they get in the truth, I need an Israelite woman. Man, you just found out you was an Israelite yesterday. So learn how to be an Israelite man first.
Exactly.
Then you able to get an Israelite woman.
Exactly, man. It like we always say, man, it is order, even in marriage, on how to obtain a wife. It is order, man. You cannot have a wife if you don't have a place for your own self.
No,
that makes no sense. Brothers got to come up out of that lust, man. You know, and I know a lot of brothers deal with it. I have dealt with it. Many other brothers don't deal with it because we black men, guess what? Israelites, we love sex, and it's just something we deal with. But you have to bring those thoughts and those habits into submission under the Bible, man.
Right.
It is order, man.
Mean not to order. Don't understand it,
exactly, man.
And like I said that I was getting that earlier. The reason it's pleasure in the sex is because to have your Because if Most High didn't put pleasure in it, it wouldn't none of us probably be here. It'd be like, what I need to go do that for?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is for. That's like Solomon said in 7:1 in Wisdom of Solomon, when he was saying there's pleasure in that at night when they doing it, but at the same time, it's just for so we can
Reproduce.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If other than that, you know how Negroes is.
Yeah, exactly. Read verse 4.
I don't get high. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to mess with it. You know what I'm saying? Because you can go smoke some parsley or some poison ivy. They don't want to mess with that though. And it's natural.
Read verse 4.
Verse 4. Verse 4. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods.
And that was also the other main goal. Guess what? He got old. He got complacent. Guess what? Because when you a king, you got all type of time, money, power, women. You know, you can do all these types of things, man. So guess what? You got to understand. You have to remember the mission, man. You have to read on up.
And his heart was not with the Lord his God.
And he wasn't keeping the commandments like how he was supposed to do. Read on up.
And was the heart of David his father, as was the heart of David his father.
Read on up.
But Solomon went after Asherah, the goddess of the Zidonians.
The Africans, guess what? That's where that Easter word comes from. It was just translated differently throughout the times of throughout the times. Read on up.
And after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites.
Of the Japanese today. Read on up.
And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father.
Like we said, don't get complacent in the truth. You got to stay on the straight and narrow path, even in your old age. You take to Abraham, God called him 90, 100 years old. Guess what? He was ready to do this work. You know, we got to understand, even if the Lord forbid that we 90 years old still in this truth, because we want the kingdom to come. But guess what? If it takes that long, guess what? You have to be that way, steadfast in this truth, man. Read on up.
Then David building in high place of Shemars at the abomination of Moab.
So his wives had him building all type of abominations and pagan temples. Read on up.
He was in the Buddhism, he was in the Hinduism.
All type of mess.
That's why some of our people do the Buddhism right now.
That's exactly right, man. Read on up.
Crazy.
In the hill that is before Jerusalem. And for Moloch. The abomination of the children of Ammon.
Well, then the abomination of the Japanese. Read on up.
And likewise did he for all his strange wives.
And that's what the Bible is calling them, strange wives. Read on up.
Which burnt incense and sacrifice unto their God.
Let's see what Deuteronomy 17:17 says. Let's go there. Because this also is a law.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verse 17. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself.
It says, neither shall he multiply wives to himself, because we had multiple wives when brothers, guess what, could take care of when we was in rulership. Read on up.
That his heart turned not away.
It says, you shouldn't multiply wives that your heart turn away, because a lot of times brothers can have too many women and you can forget about your kingdom, man. Because you're thinking about, guess what, your penis or your rod, man. Your knowledge, your rulership is for your nation. We can never get outside of that, man. Never. Read that from the top again.
Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away.
Because many women can turn your heart away, man. Read on up.
Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold.
And neither shall you multiply silver or gold to yourself that turns you away from this truth, man. Because riches will turn you away quick, man. You see what they doing to the brothers in entertainment world, rappers and so forth. Man, the brothers out there selling their soul, man. Wearing jeans tighter than what some of the sisters wearing now, man. All for $1, man. Dyeing their hair, having these spirits, man. That's not worth you the kingdom, man. Brothers got to come up out of there. We pray, repent, and turn back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. Let's go back. Verse 8.
Ecclesiastes, right?
Yeah. Now, 1 Kings 11.
First Kings, I'm sorry, it's a lot. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, verse 8. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrifice unto their God.
So they were sacrificing and burning incense unto their gods, Molech, and all these other abominations. Read on up.
And the Lord was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel.
So the Most High was pissed off from Solomon, man. He gave him all these blessings, then he started going off, man. Most High don't look at that, man. Right? Read on.
And had commanded him concerning this
Now
thing,
read that last part, which he had appeared unto
which
him.
had appeared unto him twice,
Uh-huh.
and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods.
And the Most High warned him about that. Do not go after other gods. It's written in the law of Moses. Don't do these things. Don't serve other gods, for they will turn you away from seeking another God. Read on up.
But he kept not that which the Lord commanded.
He wasn't keeping the commandments. Read on. This is when he was going off. That's going into that folly and madness. Read on up.
Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done unto thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes which I commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee and will give it to thy servant.
So for breaking God's laws, guess what? It is penalties, Israel. Each time we break God's laws, it's penalties for that thing. He can bring them on you. He can bring them on your wife, on your children, either way he see fit. He took the kingdom from Solomon. Read on up.
Notwithstanding in the days I would not
read that again up.
Notwithstanding in thy days, I will not do it for David thy father's sake.
He said he wasn't going to take the kingdom from him in his days on the blessings of King David, his father. Read on up.
But I would rend it out of the hand of thy son.
But guess what? He was going to take it from his son in his time. So the Most High God can bring judgment on your children, man. It made that brother mess up badly, man. Jeroboam, man. I mean, Jeroboam, not Jeroboam. Give me Sirach 47 and 13.
Sirach chapter 37. Chapter 37, verse 14. For a man's mind is sometimes want to tell.
47 and 13.
Oh, I'm on 37. Sorry. 47, verse 13. Solomon reigned in a peaceful time.
So the Most High God gave him peace on all corners. Read on.
And was honored. For God made all quiet around about him, that he might build an house in his name.
That he might build him an house. Read on up.
And prepare his sanctuary forever.
Uh-huh.
How wise was thou in thy youth?
Read that again.
How wise was thou in thy youth?
Because when he came up, he was wise in his youth. But later when he got old and ignorant. Read on up.
And as a flood filled with
And
understanding.
he was filled as a flood. Read on up.
Thy soul covered the whole earth, and thou fillest it with dark parables.
Read on up.
Thy name went far unto the islands, and for thy peace what thou was beloved.
Read on.
The countries marvel at thee for thy song and proverbs and parables and interpretations. By the name of the Lord God, which is called the Lord God of Israel, thou didst gather gold as tin.
So he had gold as they gathered tin. That means he has much gold. Read on up.
And didst multiply silver as lead.
And did his multiply silver as lead, meaning he had an abundance of silver. Read on up.
Thou didst bow thy loins unto women.
But he did his bow thy loins unto women, meaning guess what? He was always constantly thinking with his rod instead of his brain that the Most High gave him in his older age. Read on up.
And by thy body thou was brought into subjection.
And by thy what?
Thy body thou was brought into subjection.
And by you not controlling your lust, guess what? You read that again. I was brought into subjection under sin. So that's why it's very important that, brothers, you got to control your lust out here, brothers. You cannot be doing those types of things that go against the scriptures, Israel. You cannot. If you cannot obtain, guess what? That's why God gave us wives. But you have to prove this first. You have to make sure it's within the order of the scriptures. Read on up.
Thou didst bow thy loins unto women, and by thy body thou was brought unto subjection.
Unto subjection by
into
many.
subjection.
Into subjection by many strange women, going into their philosophies and serving their gods. Read on up.
Thou didst stain thy honor and pollute thy seed.
Guess what? By doing that, he stained his honor and polluted his seed, his children after him. Read on up.
So that thou broughtest wrath upon thy children.
And wrath was brought on King Jeroboam. Read on.
When it's saying that polluted thy seed, it's like when you mix. It's like when you mix.
Yeah.
You're not having a full full seed. You lose what is the word?
You dilute your seed.
Yes, dilute
Water
it
it
with
down.
other nations instead of having a full-blooded Israelite. Now you got an Israelite
You
with
lose some
DNA
melanin.
with DNA of somebody else of another nation attached to
As
that.
I'd say, lose a little melanin in you.
Mhm.
Read on up.
Where we at?
Verse 20.
Verse 20. Thou didst stain thy honor and pollute thy
You
seed,
polluted his seed. Read on up.
so that thou broughtest wrath upon thy children, and was grieved for thy folly,
And was what?
and was grieved for thy folly.
Because Jeroboam's mother was an Ammonitess. She was. Read on up.
So the kingdom was divided, and out of Ephraim ruled a rebellious kingdom.
Read verse 21 again.
So the kingdom was divided, and out of Ephraim ruled a rebellious kingdom.
When you go into follies, the Most High God can jack you up however he sees fit. He divided the kingdom. And then guess what? The northern tribe had constant wicked kings under their rulership, man. That's why he put them in the Assyrian captivity, man. He divided the kingdom. Guess what? A kingdom divided can never stand, man. It'll always fall, man. That's why the kingdom failed. And this is the result of it today, from all the way up and during that time until now. Read on up.
But the Lord will never leave off his mercy,
But guess what? We still have mercy. That's what this grace period is all about. Read on up.
neither shall any of his works perish.
Uh-huh.
Neither shall any of his works perish. Neither will he abolish the posterity of his elect,
The posterity is going into your seeds also. Your children. Read on up.
and the seed of him that loveth him would not take away.
Guess what? The ones that starting to repent and keep the commandments, guess what? The Most High is putting the spirit back on us today. Read on up.
Wherefore he gave a remnant unto Jacob,
Guess what? It's always going to be a small remnant that's keeping the commandments. Read on up.
and out of him a root unto David.
What's going into Christ.
Thus,
Yeah, read on up.
thus rested Solomon with his fathers,
So Solomon died. Read on up.
and his seed left behind in Rehoboam, even the foolishness of the people.
Even the what?
Foolishness of the people.
Because Rehoboam was wicked as hell. Read on up.
And one that had no understanding.
And one that had what?
No understanding.
That had no understanding. Going to the youngsters and not the men with the experience.
That's why I say things are written or foreterm, were written for our learning.
Exactly.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. That's
Exactly.
what this was an example of what Rehoboam did, was an example of things of not to do.
Exactly. And that's going into even what we opened up with, Sirach 8 and 9.
Right.
He didn't take the discourse of the elders. He went to the younger generation, man. Just imagine if we took the younger generation advice, man. We'd be out here blonde hair, tattoos all over our face, and skinny jeans, man.
Hands be at our kneecaps.
Man, it don't make no sense, man. Read on up.
Who turned away the people through his counsel.
Who turned away the people through his counsel, because he was seeking the counsel of the younger men and not the elders. Read on.
There was also Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who caused Israel to sin, and showed Ephraim the way of sin.
Read on up.
And their sin was multiplied exceedingly, that they were driven out of the land,
Going into the Assyrian captivity. Read on.
for they sought out all wickedness till the vengeance came upon them.
To the what?
Vengeance came upon
That
them.
wickedness is going into, guess what? Idols.
Mhm.
Marrying the other nations, man. They was wicked as hell, man. So the Most High God cast them out into the Assyrian captivity. Give me Nehemiah 13 and 23.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 23. In those days also our Jews that had married wives as of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab,
Of who? So we know Nehemiah and Ezra was in the same period in the Persian captivity. So it's continued well after Solomon had died. Read on up.
And their children spake having the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language.
That's why the Most High didn't want this, because a lot of times, most of the time, the women raised the children. They would raise the Israelite children in their traditions, in their language, and would raise them in our language.
Remember that movie with Spike Lee movie? What was that? Dang it, what is that movie? That's not the one was he sitting there on the New York stoops. Remember he had the Puerto Rican girlfriend.
Right thing.
No.
Do the right thing. That's it,
okay.
yes. You remember when he got mad? Quit speaking Spanish in front of, quit teaching it. Because remember they were teaching the kids Spanish. You know, everybody gonna know Spanish. The kids, they was taking him away from his black culture and introducing another culture to the kid. And that's what I'm laughing at, because I'm looking at this and that's what was going on here. They raising them up as Africans and Japanese and doing eating sushi and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens, because the mother now is raising them because the father's out doing his work.
Prime example is, guess who? The Rock. It was raised up Samoan. His daddy African American. He getting all those tattoos and stuff. Don't know nothing. Don't even claim that. Even Vin Diesel now. There's a lot of examples out there where they mama raised them, but they daddy was black.
And then two different things. I'm glad you said that, because the Rock, dad is black, father's black. He claimed his black side.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel, father is black, and he claimed his other side, his white side. He don't even act like he's like, I'm not black. Yes, you are. You 100% black. Exactly. But he was raised, you could tell he was under his mother's, he was always with his mother all the time.
Exactly. Read on up.
But according to the language of each people.
So they learned the language of their mother's tribe. Read on up.
And I contended with them and cursed them and smote certain of them and plucked off their hair and made them swear by God, saying, you should not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your son, or for yourselves.
So Nehemiah had to put some hands on some people to know he wasn't playing. Read on up.
He was going with the scripture, Deuteronomy 73.
Hey, exactly. Read on up.
He would bust him up. He was like, man, I'm not going back to captivity.
Exactly, man.
Got all women around here, man.
Read on up.
He said, did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things?
Guess what? He's sinned by those same things. So guess what? They didn't want to go in that path, man. Read on up.
Yet among many nations there's no king like him.
And guess what? It was no king throughout the nation like King Solomon, but he even fell off the sin. Read on up. And
Nehemiah had a determination for rebuilding Israel.
Exactly.
And he was like, man, hold on. This how we failed. And y'all, I'm coming out, I'm trying to build this back up. And y'all up here doing what knocked us down.
Exactly.
And Emma was slicing coat, yanking hair, plucking. Boy, he was tearing some stuff out.
It was, man. We're going to read a little bit more. Read on out.
Yet among many nations there was no king like him, who was beloved of him, God, of his God. And God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin.
Women outside of our land caused Solomon to sin. That's what outlandish women is. Read on out.
Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil?
So we're going to continue in doing this great evil and sin? Read on out.
To transgress against our God and marry strange wives.
So guess what? It is a sin. It's breaking God's laws when we go outside our nation. Read on out.
And one of those sons of Joadiah, the son of Eliashib, the priest, the high priest, was the son-in-law to Sanballat, the Horonite.
So y'all know about Sanballat, wicked behind. Read on.
Therefore I chased him from me.
That again.
Therefore I chased him from me.
Nehemiah wasn't no joke. He was putting hands on people and he was chasing people out the kingdom, man. That's how serious it was. Read on up.
Remember this, oh my God, because thou have defiled the priesthood and the covenant of the priesthood and the Levites. Thus cleanse I them from all strangers.
That's what we telling brothers and sisters. Guess what? Y'all got to be cleansed from all strangers. Come back to an Israelite woman or an Israelite man. Read on up.
And appointed the wards of the priests and Levites, everyone in his business.
Read on up.
And for the wood offering, at times appointed, and for the first fruits. Remember me, oh my God, for good.
For what?
For good.
That's what we got to constantly be praying for the Most High. Remember us for the good things that we did in keep the commandments. Give me 1 Kings 8:47. We got to repent, Israel. That's what one of the wise instructions that King Solomon left us, because he knew we was going into captivity. You know, this
And
wise counsel. Go
And
ahead.
like I said, don't get first into the truth, because you know you want your Israelite woman, not go through the steps of getting your wife by trying and all. Oh, I'm gonna get one off the top. No, we don't do all that.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. 46.
1 King 8:46. If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not, and thou be angry with them,
And thou is God angry with us, read on.
and deliver them to the enemy,
Because we delivered to the enemy on cargo slave ships in 1619, then in 1492. Read on up.
so that they carry them away captives in the land of the enemy, far or near.
Far or near. This is a far captivity. Read on up.
Yet if they shall bethink themselves,
It's telling if we shall bethink ourselves, remember who we are. Remember that you're an Israelite. You're not a Hispanic. You're not a Mexican. Remember who you are. You're not a Negro. Remember who you are. You're not Filipino or Guatemalan. You're the Israelites of Zebulun. Read on up.
in the land whither they were carried captives, and repent and make supplications unto thee in the land of them that carried them captives, saying, we have sinned and have done perversely.
That's the beginning of you repenting, acknowledging your sin and not going back into it. Read on up.
We have committed wickedness.
Verse 48.
Verse 48. And so return unto thee with all thy heart and with all their soul in the land of their
We
enemies.
need to be repenting over here in the land of our enemies, aka Babylon the Great. Read on up.
Which led them away captive, and pray unto thee toward the land
Praying towards Jerusalem. Read on up.
which thou gavest unto their fathers, the city which thou hast chosen, and the house which I have built for thy name.
Read on up.
Then hear thou their prayers and their supplication in heaven, thy dwelling place, and maintain their cause.
That's what we got to constantly be praying, Israel. Get this last precept. Give me 2 Maccabees 6 and 12.
The book of second Maccabees. Book of second Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 12. Now I beseech those that read this book, that they be not discouraged for their calamities.
For these calamities.
For these calamities.
Because we brought plenty calamities for breaking God's laws. Read on up.
But that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction.
But you judge or correct your brothers not for destruction, but because you love your brother, you want to see him make it to the kingdom. He and she. Read on up.
But a chastening of our nation.
Of our what?
Of our nation.
So get us back in line. We have to have our butts whooped in order to know that we done did wrong, man. Read on up.
For it is a token of great goodness.
It is a token. Guess what? This butt whooping is a token of great goodness. Meaning, guess what? God loves us. Because if your parents is not punishing you, they really don't love you. If your brother is not correcting you, guess what? He don't love you. Read on up.
When wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but for with punishment.
Read on.
For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbear to punish, till they become to fulfillment of their sins.
To the fullness of their sins. Guess what?
Yeah.
That's why the Most High is not punishing them. He don't care nothing about them until their sins reach that limit. Then he gonna bring the ultimate judgment down. But guess what? The judgments fall on Israel. We are the ones held accountable. Israel. Read on up.
So deal it with us all, least that being come to the height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance of us.
Read on up.
And therefore he never withdraw his mercy from us.
Guess what? His mercy is never withdrawn from us. If you up and repent, guess what? Mercy is there for you. Grace is there for you. Read on up.
And though he punished with adversity, Yet do he never forsake his people.
Guess what? We'll never be forsaken in God's people, Israel. And with that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Give me Exodus, what is that? 23:8. We tell brothers and sisters, you know, we always like to bring our commandments for brothers, you know, brothers and sisters. You know, we pray, brothers and sisters, watch this video, share the video. We hope that y'all got something out of it. Read this right quick.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 8. And thou shalt keep no gift, for the gift blind the wise.
Read that again.
And thou shalt take no gift.
Thou shalt take no gift going into what? Christmas too. We're gonna bring this up to today. Because guess what? That gift is destroying our people, man. Putting the false imaginations in our people, man. What we doing for the kids? No, y'all doing that for Satan, man. Read on up.
For the gift blind the wise.
It's blinding our people, man, making our kids think that some white man is coming down the chimney doing for them. That's white supremacy at its finest, man. Get to the heart of our children. Read on up.
And perceiveth the words of righteous of the righteous. Also shall not oppress a stranger, for ye know the heart of a stranger, seeing ye strangers in the land of Egypt.
Yeah, that's it on that. Like we always say, we love to bring out a command. We say keep the commandments, but a lot of times we never read and know what they are. Like I always say, subscribe to the YouTube page, Facebook, follow us, subscribe to the YouTube page, and vice versa. Periscope, all these things help us push this truth. Go to the GoFundMe page so we can get to some of those areas where our brothers and sisters are at. And with that, we say shalom.
Shalom.